Good evening, I'm Shane Jones, leading the news at 7. The full meeting of the Social Partnership as requested to discuss the island's economic woes will go ahead as planned, but it will be televised live. This from Prime Minister Frendel Stewart as he spoke on the motion of definite urgent public importance introduced into the House of Assembly by opposition St. James Central MP Kerry Simmons. Mr. Stewart says government is committed to dialogue with the Social Partnership as well as the well-being of the workers.
Because I have committed myself to having a meeting as well. And as the Minister of Finance quite correctly said, he beat me to it in a manner of speaking, whenever that meeting is held. It is not going to be held in secret. It is going to be a nationally televised meeting where Barbadians can hear what the government is about, what the social partners are about, both the labor movement and the private sector.
Finance Minister Chris Sinclair, who spoke just ahead of the Prime Minister, had suggested the meeting be carried live. And if he has his way, everyone who attends will have to give their suggestion on how to get Barbados out of its economic woes.
So that if we have a deficit of $600 or $700 million to close the finance in this financial year, not next year, this year, come to the meeting and tell me exactly how you are going to close that deficit. If I cut the NSRL by 5%, how are we going to make up the money that is lost projected from that tax? If I reduce the VAT, tell me how much people you are going to send home by cutting salaries and wages. If the private sector wants to close down entities and make Barbadians pay for waste collection, for school meals, for whatever the case may be, I don't know.
Honourable Member,
come, yes.
Your saying time has started.
Come to the meeting and let us know.
And St. James Central MP Kerry Simmons, who led off the debate, said it was the duty of the government to respond to the ongoing concerns of the unions. Mr. Simmons says government should have a broad level of consultation before implementing certain measures, particularly something like the National Social Security Responsibility Levy.
Barbados cannot afford the one day that the port shut down last week. Barbados, sir, by extension, cannot afford the next step of having the airport shut down for a day or two or a week or 2 or 3. The implication for people who are in commerce, sir, is disastrous. The implication for people who need to have goods provided to their stores or people to buy goods from stores because of health conditions on a weekly or bi-weekly basis is disastrous.
And opposition leader Mia Motley wants the social partnership broadened as Barbados searches for solutions to its economic challenges. She believes the traditional players of government, the labor movement and the private sector should be joined at the table by civil society and the opposition. Ms. Motley is encouraging Prime Minister Frendel Stewart to adopt this new approach.
We urge him that in the same way that the social partnership came about from the last economic crisis of the early 90s, now is the time to revise the social partnership, broaden it and deepen it, include civil society, include the opposition, and let this be a place for discussion for national governance without prejudice to the right to cabinet to decide policy and without prejudice to the right of parliament to determine laws and to determine taxation and to determine expenditure that is to be available to government and governmental entities.
Some small businesses may soon be able to avoid the stresses of value-added tax. This comes from Finance Minister Chris Sinclair. Speaking during debate in the House this morning, Minister Sinclair says once an amendment to the VAT Act is approved, small business operators earning less than $200,000 annually will not have to deal with the hassle of VAT. It's a move he believes will ease business owners.
It allows them to have a little bit more cash flow. It allows them to be able to not have to expend resources in areas that they could then transfer those resources or divert those resources into other areas of the business to grow the business and to do other things. And it also, in some instances, in fact many instances, it pulls them out of the process of having to do what we call VAT refunds.
Minister Sinclair added that the change will not negatively impact the government. Housing Minister Dennis Kelman has labeled yesterday's march as an attack on Barbados by the unions. Mr. Kelman says the measures put in place by government are necessary to solve the economic issues plaguing Barbados, and the unions themselves have yet to make a feasible suggestion.
I personally could not accept the argument of the unions when they asked us to cut revenue and increase expenditure. So the unions need to explain to the public of Barbados how they could be out there marching on Barbados because they did not march on the government. Because when they put that argument out there, they are now anti-Barbados, not the Democratic Labour Party, because all they are doing is putting us in a deeper fiscal problem, and we cannot get out of it if we were to follow their advice.
MP for St. Michael's Southeast Santia Bradshaw says government can no longer wait until the middle of next month to meet with the full social partnership. She says those in authority must move to avert further industrial action.
You are spending monies on Carifesta, you are spending monies on Cropova, sir. We are at a serious juncture in our time frame in terms of when this country is able to make foreign exchange. It is urgent, sir, that we do not continue this situation. I urge you through the Speaker, Mr. Speaker, for the Prime Minister to address this matter with urgency, sir. It is a matter of urgent public importance.
Education Minister Ronald Jones says government remains supportive of democracy and workers' rights in Barbados. He says the government stands ready to have serious dialogue with the parties involved. Minister Jones has also dismissed claims the Freundel Stewart administration is anti-union.
This government continues to support with taxpayers' resources. Continue to support with taxpayers' resources in the various training levies or training funds that we have, and we continue to give to unions to support their membership, to help sustain their budgets, and to find at this stage that they're saying you no longer want to relate to us. The government itself cannot be totally silent in the face of the kinds of behaviors being visited on the government and people of Barbados generally, where there is almost every day some wildcat activity or wildcat behavior.
Tourism Minister Richard Seeley has warned the trade unions of Barbados to be wary of who they associate themselves with. He made this point while reflecting on yesterday's protest march.
People marching at a union-sponsored event who would be happy, pleased as punch to drive up Hinesbury Road and to see BWU boarded up and a for sale sign shut down. I am calling out the leadership. You don't go after a government that is willing to sacrifice political capital to keep your people employed. You have to support the government that is trying to keep jobs, and you're going to join shoulder to shoulder with people who despise the trade union movement and say so openly.
A newspaper article suggesting there are problems at the Transport Board's mangrove depot with imported parts has not gone down well with the Minister of Transport. And Minister Michael Lashley has sought to clear the air on the matter, as well as the hiring of a fleet consultant.
There is a document done by Pricewaterhouse that looked into the state-owned agencies in Barbados. And in that document, it indicated that the consultant that we have employed, based on his initiatives, that we have saved Transport Board millions of dollars. And you know, the engines that we imported, all of them are working, and the buses out there running, and they're working. And yet the nation said that not one is working. You know, the nation said that we bring in parts and all them store at Mangrove. You know, we don't store parts at Mangrove.
The 5 young men charged in connection with last Monday's murder of Child Care Board worker Colleen Payne have been remanded to prison. They appeared before Magistrate Douglas Frederick in the District A Magistrates Court today. Lisa Broom was there and files this report.
3 of the 5 charged are teenagers. They're 17-year-old Baggio McNeil Boxill of 3rd Avenue, Spring Garden, Black Rock, 18-year-old Kishawn Lamar Anderson Thomas of Nichols Road, Seaview, St. James, and 19-year-old Orlando Ricardo Martin of 2nd Avenue, Bibby's Lane. They're accused of murdering the 58-year-old mother last Monday night while she used the Royal Bank of Canada ATM at University Drive in Black Rock. They were not required to plead to the indictable charges and were remanded until August 22nd. The other 2 held in connection with Colleen Payne's death are accused of assisting the offenders. 24-year-old Kyle Donico Gill of Danesbury, Black Rock is accused of disposing of the gun used by Thomas and Martin, while 19-year-old Darian Reuben Thompson of Old Plough Road is accused of disposing of the clothing worn by the 2. While Gill and Thompson were not required to plead to the indictable charges, Prosecutor Sergeant Martin Rock objected to bail for both young men. He says the offence of which they are accused is serious and that society needs to be protected from them. Gill's attorney, Dr. Waldo Walron Ramsey, said he would appeal for bail at the High Court. Thompson's attorney, Safia Moore, on the other hand, acknowledged the seriousness of the offence, but said her client is still a good candidate for bail. She told the court he has no previous convictions, has a part-time job, and has started the process of enrolling in a vocational training program. But in the end, Magistrate Frederick agreed with the prosecutor's arguments, adding that tempers have been inflamed by the alleged offence and he is concerned about the safety of the accused. Magistrate Frederick then remanded the 2 to prison until August 22nd. Lisa Broom, Cbc News.
Police are conducting investigations into a 3-vehicular accident which occurred around 8:30 last night along Duncan's Road, St. Philip. It resulted in 8 persons being injured, 4 children and 4 adults. The first vehicle was driven by 52-year-old Ricardo Hunt of Edgecombe, St. Philip, who complained of pain to his chest. The second was driven by 23-year-old Shah Yearwood of Grassfield, St. Philip, who was also accompanied by her 3 children, a 10-month-old twin and a 4-year-old girl. Yearwood complained of pain to her left shoulder, while the twin received lacerations to the fingers and the infant received an abrasion to her left side. The third vehicle was driven by 61-year-old Anderson Barker of No. 2 Eastbourne, St. Philip, who was accompanied by his wife and grandchild. Barker and his wife both complained of pain to the chest, while their grandson was uninjured. The injured were all transported to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital by ambulance for medical attention. We'll take a short break here and come back with more news.
Don't let your data experience slow you down. Step up to Digicel, Barbados' fastest 4G network, more than twice as fast as the slow network. Get more with Digicel. Digicel, the fastest 4G network in Barbados. Dial *153# to sign up to Digicel today.
Shoes, shoes, shoes. Shoes for casual wear, work, dress, school, hotel workers, restaurant workers, and wide-width shoes. Go to Megville. Yes, at Megville, you will get good shoes at good prices always. Located in Bridgetown on Palmetto Street, Tudor Street, and High Street.
Which Caribbean country shares their year of independence with Barbados?
Guyana.
I did not even know there was more.
Guyana.
I'm not from Barbados, I wouldn't know.
Guyana.
Guyana.
I think that's Guyana.
Gary Festa 13 Barbados.
Flow brings you superior value in home entertainment, designed around the way you watch, talk, and connect. Introducing Flow Ultra, the new TV, broadband, and home phone plan with over 165 of your favorite TV and music channels, plus 175 megabits broadband, so you can surf faster and play harder. Get basic and advanced call features and 1,500 minutes of free international calls, all yours for only $230. Sign up for Flow Ultra and save over $180 per month. Flow Ultra, the superior value in home entertainment. New from Flow.
Young people living in the Gall Hill St. John community will now have easy access to technology. This is thanks to the launch of the Community Technology Program at the Gall Hill Community Center. More from Tristan Ward.
Technology at their fingertips. This will be the benefit of the Community Technology Program, which gives residents, particularly young people, the opportunity to access the internet as well as take part in computer courses. Speaking at the opening ceremony, Minister of Social Care Steve Blackett says his ministry is focused on transforming community centers into community resource centers.
This center will not only provide a wide range of computer courses, but will be equipped with both wired and wireless internet access. In addition, we expect that the activities which already exist in the center will continue and that the other program activities will be added. We're inviting individuals and groups from within the parish to utilize the facilities here at Gall Hill.
Coordinators of the program admit there were difficulties in securing a location for the computer lab. However, Chief Community Development Officer Patricia Hackett-Codrington says she is glad to see they were able to overcome these challenges.
We decided to make space in the house which we own and to implement the project rather than wait on the goodwill of others. That is exactly what we did, and here we are this evening with this in-house computer lab.
MP for St. John, Mara Thompson, encouraged those who will use the lab to do so with future generations in mind.
I wish to implore those who will use it to please take good care of the facility and of the equipment, as this can, well, we need to have it to pass on to one who are coming after to use it.
Minister Blackett says the program has already benefited more than 50,000 Barbadians. Tristan Ward, CBC News.
As a result of technical difficulties being experienced at the Office of Certificate of Character, individuals collecting certificates are likely to experience some delay in the process. Barbadians desirous of obtaining a certificate of character can still apply as the office works to rectify the challenges. The office apologizes for any inconveniences the delay will cause. Pediatric nursing students can now practice on a new device which is expected to provide them with more realistic training. The $41,000 high-fidelity mannequin, also referred to as Sim Jr., was donated by the Rotary Club of Barbados West to the Department of Pediatrics. Immediate past President Kevin Watson says they were convinced to assist by lecturer in the Department of Medical Science at the University of the West Indies, Dr. Michelle Lashley.
Somehow this year, we started with the usual $5,000 budget and ended up at $41,000. And that was all due to Dr. Lashley's persistence and explaining the need for this piece of equipment and selling us on it. And she did an excellent job. And I think she deserved all the kudos for helping improve the standard of care at Queen Elizabeth Hospital.
Dr. Lashley says the Sim Jr. is the first they have been able to acquire.
Previous to this, we were using what we call low-fidelity monitors, or mannequins. This particular mannequin is different in that it simulates the real child. The mannequin, as you can see, looks fairly realistic, and then afterwards you come and see a better look at it. He has real-looking eyes with pupils that respond. He has limbs that can be moved appropriately, obviously in the real directions that we will move children in. He has inside apparatus that simulates heart rates and heartbeats. Once he's connected up to the system, he can give us a blood pressure. And the equipment on the right-hand side is the controller equipment.
The drive to boost entrepreneurship among Barbadians is working. At least that's the word from the entities whose goal it is for Barbados to become the entrepreneurial hub of the region by the year 2020. And both the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme and the Barbados Entrepreneurship Foundation agree the youth should lead that charge. CBC's Denise Blackman has the story.
For the average student, summer vacation is all about relaxing and squeezing in as much fun as you can. So you wouldn't expect to see this classroom behind me at Queen's College full of students from 13 to 17 from schools all over Barbados. Not only are they ready to learn, but they are ready for business.
At Camp Enterprise, run by the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme, they will spend the summer learning about all aspects of building a business.
They do things like how to the structuring of a business, how to market a business. They learn about financing, practical money management.
Some of the campers already have the entrepreneurial spirit.
I have a business, KTC, and my mother was telling me that the camp was good to help learn a couple more skills to help me in my business. So as my mother, I took her advice and I decided to come to Camp Enterprise.
I'm trained by the end of vacation to launch my own project. It's going to be an online store, but yes, by the end of camp, I'm hoping to get the knowledge to open it and make it successful.
I decided to be an entrepreneur because honestly, I like to be in charge and I just find it interesting to work for myself, knowing I could do things on my own instead of for other people, but I could still help people.
I figured that if I come here, one, I will have an opportunity to see what the inside information about having a business, marketing, managing, customer service, all of that, and also to have an opportunity, just have a little grasp at what more I could add to my business to put it out there.
And each student has their own reason for choosing entrepreneurship.
My initial thoughts were that this could be an opportunity to get a second job if I get fired. So if I get fired at my first job, and I could become a businessman.
However, some are still torn between starting their own business and following the more traditional route.
I would like to own my own photography business, but my main job right now, my main focus is being a doctor. So I would like to go away, finish school first, go to another school, and then get my degree and everything, and then go to Canada or Texas.
Many at Camp Enterprise were encouraged by their parents to attend. According to the Barbados Entrepreneurship Foundation, that is a good sign.
Barbadians, through necessity in the past, have become entrepreneurs. We think that is changing now, so we're seeing younger people by choice make the decision. Furthermore, what we are seeing is parents encouraging children to become entrepreneurial.
After some important coaching, students will eventually put their skills to the test in the preparation for what the camp calls Sale Day.
We operate as a business in the camp, so they come up with their business name, their pitch to get the startup capital, which goes up to about $300, and they go off, they come up with a product or service.
This year's businesses should surround culture and sports, but profits or losses, Sale Day will be a learning experience.
I'm very excited for that, just to go out in the streets to see how my product is. If people don't buy it, I know that, okay, scratch that idea, go to something else. But if it works, I can probably add things to that idea.
And at the very end of Camp Enterprise, students will incorporate all that they have learnt to present a formal business plan to an audience. Denise Blackman, CBC News.
After the break, we'll take a look at stories making headlines across our region.
At this age, he will have his first friend. He will share hugs, but some dirt as well, and maybe a lot more. Because strong friendships need strong children, protect them with Nestle Clim 1 Plus. Contains vitamins and minerals that help them to achieve 100% protection plus nutrition. And Pre-Bio 1 that together contribute to maintaining a healthy digestive system and a normal immune system. Nestle Clim 1 Plus. Your love, their future.
Distributed by Massey Distribution.
Imagine screaming for your favorite artists as they compete in the Sweet Soca and Party Monarch final of the MQI 98.1 The Wall Soca Royale. In association with JetBlue, Billy B, Marvey, Lil Rick, Morrisville, Nikita, RPB, Sanctuary, Shaquille, and TC battling reigning Sweet Soca Monarch Edwin. Then it's the Party Monarch finals with Raz, Ali, and Griner, Faith, Mikey, Mr. Deal, Mr. Blood, Peter Ram, Ramses Brown, and Sophia, all battling reigning Party Monarch Lil Rick. A sleek Mazda 3 for each winner. General tickets are now $60 or pay $70 at the door. Royal Sunday, July 30th at the Bushy Park Racing Circuit. It's the MQI 98.1 The Wall Soca Royale in association with JetBlue. Get your tickets now. Tickets available at the NTS, www.ticketpal.com, and all Hawkover box offices. Get your tickets now.
Hi, Louis the Lightning Bug here. Now us lightning bugs are experts, see, on safety and electricity. And one thing for sure, and I ought to know, you never fly your kites where power lines go.
You never fly your kites where power lines go.
Now if you're looking for a tree to climb, you never climb trees near power lines.
You never climb trees near power lines.
Play it smart, little buddy.
Power lines.
You gotta play it safe around the power lines. You gotta...
A message from Light and Power, powering our nation's progress since 1911.
The Fire and Ambulance Department in Dominica is worried about the growing number of vehicle fires. It says the increase is now leading to suspicion of arson.
The words from Fire Chief Josiah Dupie when he spoke at a press conference on Monday. According to data provided by the Fire Department, there was a total of 7 vehicle fires in 2015, 18 vehicle fires in 2016, and for January to June 2017, there have been 14 vehicle fires. The fire chief says data gathered thus far indicates that not every vehicle fire is of a natural cause.
I am here to state very clearly that the fire service is aware that there is much more than natural causes being the result of the fires that we are seeing, and that we take it very seriously. I will admit that here at the fire service we have our struggles and our deficiencies. In spite of that, of those challenges, I am here to say that we are going to be more deliberate, we are going to be more thorough, we are going to ensure that we get better results from our investigations. And many of those who would have gotten away, I want to say that very clearly, those who would have gotten away with deliberately setting their vehicles on fire for whatever reason, we are going to be careful in uncovering every stone from henceforth to ensure, one, that we do not see this pattern continue or to get worse.
Dupie says the fire department is working with insurance companies to clamp down on the number of intentional vehicle fires around the island.
We have had discussions with members of the insurance company, and what we find and what our data tell us is not particularly surprising to them. And there is a few initiatives which are on the way to ensure that we can address this problem. One of them I'll speak to internally that we have adopted is to ensure is to actually put in place a fire investigative team. The intention is to address and to show up our current practice.
In Trinidad and Tobago, a security guard was shot during a robbery at a plaza in San Fernando yesterday morning. Reports indicate that around 11, 3 men accosted Matthew Pierre and one jumped over the counter in a jewelry store and held the attendant at gunpoint. CCTV footage recovered from the scene shows one man darting towards the exit of the building with Pierre chasing him. While in pursuit of that man, Pierre was shot from behind by another bandit. The short video shows a third bandit running behind the shooter with a blue bag in his hand. The security guard was subsequently seen limping back inside the building, and police are investigating. In Antigua and Barbuda, a police officer is under investigation for incest. It is alleged the corporal of over 20 years had unlawful sexual intercourse with his 11-year-old daughter. The acts have allegedly been ongoing for some time, and the matter came to light after the child reported it to a relative. The officer was pulled off the job after the report was filed on Sunday afternoon. Police have confirmed that the matter is under investigation and say further action will be taken where and when necessary. The Guyana government is not buying into the notion of banning imported products which could be produced locally, but it does intend to deny entry to substandard goods. We get more in this report.
There has been a conversation recently about placing a ban on imported products which can be sourced locally. Only recently, Finance Minister Winston Jordan made the conversation unpopular when he said that the government has no plan to do so. On Monday, head of the Government Food and Drug Department, Mr. Marlon Cole, solidified the government's position.
Though we would not be able to ban any product coming to Guyana directly from, that is being imported into Guyana, they may be called for banning of products entering into Guyana that can be sourced locally, but we know too well that you cannot do that in the international community.
Mr. Cole said while banning is not an option, there are other courses a country can take in that regard without impinging on the right to free trade.
Prevent substandard products from entering into the country, at the same time facilitating trade. And sometimes we know there are many issues as it relates to manufacturers operating under insanitary conditions in some cases.
The Ministry of Public Health has recently signaled its intention to have the food and drug legislation revised to ensure that activities in the department are adjusted,
so that we can be more attentive to our mandate, which is to facilitate the trade of consumer goods, both import and export, and very importantly to protect our consumers as well.
A peek into the world of sports is just ahead, but before we get there, here's a tip from Cooperators General Insurance.
This tip of the day is brought to you by Cooperators General Insurance Company Limited. Insurance the way you want it to be.
Policyholders should ensure that the sum insured on their property reflects the rebuilding cost as new. In other words, you should not underinsure your property. Cooperators General Insurance, helping you to be prepared this hurricane season.